Hey everybody, welcome to today's episode of the Guitar Gravity Show. Good to see you all. Hope you're doing well. We had a crazy storm here in Ontario in Canada, and a lot of people without power from all the winds. So pray that everyone's staying safe. And so today we're going to look at the 3 levels of sweep picking. We've been exploring the sweep picking topic for the last few weeks, and I wanted to just break down 3 levels of it for the intermediate player. So this is for intermediate guitarists, and we're going to look at 3 different levels of sweep picking, and the point of this is to just zero in on each level and help give you the confidence you need. And we're just going to break down the technique, and I'll give you some examples of the 3 different levels, and hopefully give you foundation for each level so that you know where to go next in your sweep picking journey. All right. So before we get started, I don't know if you guys have caught the news, but I'm really excited about this new resource that I've put out for you. It's called my top 3 sweep picking patterns. It's a PDF I put together. It's free, and I'm just going to show that to you right here. So it's a free PDF download. I'm going to break down all the technique of sweep picking, and we're going to give you some concrete exercises to make things practical and help you on your journey of getting better at sweep picking. So make sure to get that. The link is down below. So again, link is down below for that free resource. Make sure to grab it. I'm really excited about it, and I really hope it really helps you. So please let me know if you're getting results and just how it's going. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I can connect with you and help you with anything you have, any questions you may have. Okay, let's dive in. Today we're going to look at So the first thing we're going to look at is a major arpeggio shape. So if you think of if you think of chords in music, there's this thing called a major chord, and it usually sounds very happy. So this is what we hear when we hear a major chord. All right. So that is what we're going to look at today, and I'm going to show you a diagram of those notes on the fretboard with the corresponding fingers. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'll just show that to you. It'll make more sense here. Okay. So this is our main major arpeggio shape, and arpeggio just means playing the notes of a chord. So there's 3 notes, and an arpeggio is when we play each one individually, and so that's what we're doing today. So let's go through those notes. There are other arpeggio shapes, but this is my favorite one, and I think it's the best one to get started with as you get started with sweep picking. So if we look at the first note, it's with our 4th finger, and we're hitting the note D. The next one, so we go to our ring finger, and we play with our 3rd finger right below. And the next note is on the 2nd fret with our 1st finger. Second note, or the next note is with our middle finger on the B string. On the high E string, we have with our 1st finger F sharp, and the last note is with our 4th finger. So we played it all together, so without sweeping, just playing each note with the downstroke. So again, we're outlining a major chord. So keep that in mind, reference that. If you need to go back to it after, you can look at that. That is the main arpeggio shape that we'll be looking at for all the exercises in this lesson. Okay, let's revisit sweep picking technique, okay? So the main thing we want to remember is if we think back to how we first started playing the guitar, when we were strumming it, oh, thought I lost some audio there. When we were strumming, when we first started, we didn't just, we strummed more into the strings. It's probably more clanky, a little bit more digging into the string. We want to revisit that when we do sweep picking. We want to dig into the string, and as a result, by pushing into the string, your pick is being stopped by the next string. As you're going through each string, you should feel your pick catching that next string. So without even using your left hand, you could just practice with your right hand and just go through each note and allow the next string to stop your pick. So it's like, and then up. So I'm not stopping it myself, I'm just allowing the next string to catch my pick. That's sweep picking. Now the next thing to keep in mind, that's the right hand. Now the next thing to keep in mind is our left hand. Just like when we normally would play one note after the other, we want to release the next when we go to the next note, we want to release. We just like a teeter-totter, we're always moving our fingers. We're not holding them down. This isn't a chord that we're just holding. We're releasing each note so we hear each note separately. Now when we get to the high E string, you'll notice we're going to hold down that second fret. Actually, we'll get to that when we go through the examples. So there is a time when we do this arpeggio where we are going to hold down a finger on the fretboard, and we'll talk about that in a second when we get through these examples. So that's the sweep picking technique, and we'll go through it in more detail here as we go through each exercise. And now that we've looked at the main arpeggio shape, the main major arpeggio shape, let's look at the 3 levels of sweep picking. So the first level is 2 strings and downwards motion. So we're not doing upwards motion yet. This is just 2 strings, downwards motion. So that's what this exercise is illustrating. So if we use that arpeggio shape we just looked at, the two bottom strings, or the 2 high strings, I should say, is those notes. So for this example, what we're going to do is what we want to do first is, like I mentioned before, we're going to take our first finger and we're going to keep it on the 2nd fret. That's going to stay there. It's going to stay there. And we are going to play our first note with an upstroke. And we have our pinky on the 5th fret, and we're going to pull off. So when I pick the note on an upstroke, I'm going to release, I'm going to flick down and with my finger and pull off. If you notice, my first finger is not, it's staying right down on the fretboard. I'm not releasing that. Now the next thing I want to do is, this is where the sweep picking comes in, right here. So we're going to go to the B string, and I'm going to do a downstroke. And here I've released my first finger. So when I go to the B string, I'm going to release my first finger and place my second finger on the B string with a downstroke, and then I'm going to play the high E string again. So those are 2 downstrokes. So again, I'm allowing my pick to catch the next string. So when I pick the B string, it's already hitting the high E string before I play the that note on the high E string. So upstroke, pull off. I apologize for some of the audio. It's a little choppy, so be patient. I apologize. So So that's the first level of sweep picking. So like I said, we are maintaining our picking motion on our right hand is digging into the string, and we're allowing the string, each string to be the string below it to be caught by our pick. Okay, and our first finger is staying on that second fret at the beginning, and then we release it once we get to the B string. Okay, so that's the first level of sweep picking. 2 strings, downwards motion. Now the second level, things are getting a little bit more difficult here. We're going to introduce 3 strings, and now we're going to be doing down motion and an upwards motion. So this is the second level of sweep picking. This is a lot more difficult. So a downwards motion we did before, or upwards motion, that was our last time. Now this time it's down and up. So a little bit more complicated. So if we revisit the arpeggio shape, we're going to look at the bottom 3 strings. So we're starting on with our first finger, a downwards motion, and then pick through to the next note, downwards motion, and then downwards motion on the high E string. So down, 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 down. And then I'm going to keep my first finger like before. The first finger is going to stay there. And then I'm going to do an upstroke like last time on the 5th fret and pull off, same as last time. An upstroke. So down, down, down. Upstroke and pull off. And now I'm going to do 2 upstrokes. So when I'm coming up, same idea. I'm allowing now this time the string above to be caught by the string above. So as I'm picking through the B string and the G string, the string is going up and hitting the string above it and being stopped by that string. Upstroke, pull off. Now I release my fingers like a teeter-totter. Hold it down. Now release the first finger. So there you have it. That is the second level of sweep picking. Again, I'm keeping my motions very small. I'm digging into the strings, and I'm allowing the string below or above to be caught by my pick. And I keep my first finger pivoted on the high E string when I'm doing the pull off, and then release it and do upstrokes and release each finger when I'm coming up. Okay, so the final level of sweep picking. This is the most challenging. And now we're introducing more than 3 strings. So here we have 5 strings, and we're doing a lot more upstrokes and downstrokes. So again, the same arpeggio, but now we're adding in those other notes, all the other notes in that chord. So to illustrate, I'm going to do an upstroke, and I'm playing the same notes as before. So upstrokes here. But now we're adding in these 2 extra notes. So on the 4th fret with my 4th finger, and then, sorry, my 3rd finger on the 4th fret, and then the last note is on the 5th fret on the A string. I do an upstroke here. Now when I'm coming down, I'm going to go through all those notes again, but now we're going down strokes. And I'm releasing each finger as I go. And the last note's on an upstroke. So basically all upstrokes, and then when I go down, all downstrokes, and that last note is an upstroke. So upstroke, and I pull off. So I'm keeping my finger already there on the second fret. Now the rest of the notes I'm going to be releasing, but when I get to that top note here, I'm not releasing it. I'm just staying there and then going down. Now go down, and I'm releasing the notes with my fingers. So together we get sorry, I should mention it's a downstroke at the beginning. Yeah, so instead of an upstroke, it's a downstroke at the beginning. So downstroke. The reason why we do that is because to continue the pattern, because it ends in an upstroke, we want to start. If we continued playing this arpeggio, we want to do an alternate pick there to make it easier to go back up. So my apologies. So we're going to actually start on a downstroke. So downstroke. Now do upstrokes. There you go. Lots to look at today. We looked at the 3 levels of sweep picking, and again, work on that right hand. Take your time and play through each string, and make sure that you're digging into the string. And think back to when you first started playing, and you should get that clanky sound, and dig into the string. Allow the string below it to be caught by your pick, or allow your pick to be caught by the string below. And then when you're coming up, same idea. Play with a metronome at a slow setting and really lock into the rhythm. Small movements with the right hand. I'm not doing big movements here. I'm just, as you can see, I'm resting my forearm on the guitar, and I'm allowing my wrist to relax, and I'm just right here, right in the zone on the strings. And again, my left hand, I'm alternating the notes as I'm playing, except when I'm getting to the high E string, and I'm going to keep, as a pivot, I'm going to keep my first finger on that string as I'm doing the pull-offs, and then wherever else I'm going, I will release it when I'm going back up. There you go. Lots to cover. Again, really excited about this new resource I've put together for you. It's a free PDF. It's a free PDF all on sweep picking. So everything that we're covering today, but in more detail. And so please grab that. The link is down below. Also, please leave a comment today. I know this is a very challenging technique, so please let me know in the comments what you've learned today. If there's anything that stood out for you, what you're working on, what exercise was helpful, what tip was helpful for you, please let me know in the comments down below. Would love to hear from you. So thank you for tuning in to the Guitar Gravity Show. My name is Doucette, and stay tuned for another episode next Wednesday, and take care. Rock on.